The capital city of Italy's Tuscany region, Florence is internationally esteemed for its high concentration of Renaissance art and architecture. Because it served as a wealthy and important center for medieval trade and commerce, the city gave birth to the Italian Renaissance movement. Today we share the top 10 things to do in Florence that promise unforgettable experiences. From stunning natural wonders to culturally rich cities, we unveil destinations that captivate your imagination and inspire your next adventure. Starting with number 1, Santa Maria del Fiore. Dominating the panoramic view of Florence is the Santa Maria del Fiore, the domed cathedral that is often called the Duomo. Known today as the world's largest masonry dome, this majestic cathedral features 600 years worth of stunning architecture and artworks. Planning for the new church began in the late 1200s and building started in 1296. Unfortunately, politics and the plague interrupted the construction several times. In 1375, workers were instructed to tear down the partially completed church and start over. Except for the marble on the outside, the Florence Cathedral was completed in 1436. The first architect to work on the cathedral was Arnolfo di Cambaio. He designed it in the Gothic style and left space for a huge dome to top the building. However, he had no idea how to build this dome. Fortunately, Filippo Brunelleschi, a goldsmith and clockmaker, solved this puzzle. At number 2, Ponte Vecchio. The Ponte Vecchio is the oldest, as well as the most famous, of the 6 bridges that cross Florence's Arno River. Up until 1218, this bridge, also known as the Old Bridge, was the only bridge to cross that river. Historians believe that the original bridge goes back to Roman times. The bridge connected the Uffizi Gallery and the Pitti Palace across the river from it. Unfortunately, a flood destroyed the structure in 1333. 12 years later, in 1345, the bridge was rebuilt. Workers replaced the original 5 arches with 3 and widened the main part of the bridge. At this time, the bridge hosted shops and houses authorized by the Bargello, who was a combination of mayor and magistrate. At number 3 in our list, Piazza della Signoria. Serving over the centuries as an important center for politics and the site of several historic episodes, the Piazza della Signoria is a beautiful square centered among some of the top attractions in Florence. It is here that tourists can visit remarkable places like the Palazzo Vecchio, the Uffizi Museum, the Palazzo Uguccione, the Loggia de Lanzi and the nearby Ponte Vecchio Bridge. This town square is also a treasure trove of notable sculptures such as a replica of Michelangelo's statue of David, the Fountain of Neptune, Hercules and Cacus, as well as Perseus with the head of Medusa. At number 4, Palazzo Pitti. The Palazzo Pitti is a large 15th-century palace situated on the quieter south bank of the Arno River. The palace was long the residence of Florence's rulers until 1919, when it was handed over to the Italian state, which transformed the palace into a museum complex. Despite its metamorphosis from a royal residence to a state-owned public building, the palazzo, sitting on its elevated site overlooking Florence, still retains the air and atmosphere of a private collection in a grand house. At number 5 in our list, Piazzale Michelangelo. The Piazzale Michelangelo is a large, partly pedestrianized square located across the Arno River from the center of Florence. From the square, visitors have a magnificent view over the city. The spacious square was laid out in 1860 by Giuseppe Poggi, a local architect who is also known for his creation of boulevards around the center of Florence. At number 6, Boboli Gardens. Located behind the Palazzo Pitti, the Boboli Gardens were created by the Medici family in the 16th century. The beautiful and varied Italianesque garden is home to a large number of statues and fountains. The gardens have passed through several stages of enlargement and restructuring work. They were enlarged in the 17th century to their present extent and have come to form an outdoor museum of garden sculpture that includes Roman antiquities as well as later works. At number 7, Basilica di San Lorenzo. Situated at the center of the city's main market district, the Basilica di San Lorenzo is one of the oldest churches of Florence and was the burial place of all. The church, originally designed by Filippo Brunelleschi in the 15th century, is an early example of ecclesiastical Renaissance architecture. The facade of this church was never completed, giving it a striking, rustic appearance. Inside the church is pure Renaissance neo-classical splendor. At number 8 in our list, Galleria dell'Accademia. The Galleria dell'Accademia, or Gallery of the Academy, is certainly the most famous for its sculptures by the great Renaissance artist, Michelangelo. His prisoners, or slaves, his street Matthew and, above all, the outstanding statue of David are what draw most of the hundreds of thousands of visitors the museum welcomes every year. Other works on display are Florentine paintings from the 15th and 16th centuries, including works by Sandro Botticelli, and from the High Renaissance such as Giambologna's original plaster for the rape of the Sabine women. At number 9, Palazzo Vecchio. One of Florence's most significant buildings is the Palazzo Vecchio, a grand palace overlooking the Piazza della Signoria. Built in the 12th century, the Palazzo Vecchio housed the powerful Medici family as well as Florence's supreme governing body for 6 centuries. Since 1872, it has served in part as a museum and as the city town hall. This impressive palace packs a wealth of artifacts and artworks that include beautiful frescoes, sculptures, painted ceilings, intricate carvings and tapestries that all depict historic and biblical events. Check out the number 10 places in our list, Uffizi Gallery. Regarded today as one of the world's greatest art museums, the Uffizi Gallery is located off the Piazza della Signoria. This former palace was first built in 1560 to house the offices of the city magistrates. After the ruling dynasty of the Medici family relinquished its power, the palace evolved into an art gallery to showcase its stunning collection of Renaissance art treasures. Opened to the public in 1765, the museum offers thousands of artworks by masters like Michelangelo, Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci and Titian. Thank you for watching Vacation Plus. We hope you've been inspired to explore new horizons and experience unforgettable adventures. Subscribe for more travel inspiration and tips. Safe travels, and see you next time on Vacation Plus.